We're continuing our coverage of Invictus Games here in Toronto, and we're meeting exciting people. I'm sitting next to someone here that is an example, a beacon of hope, been through a lot in his life, and he continues to live on. I mean, this is an example of a hero. Thank you so much for joining me, Jason Caswell.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
What I want you to start with first is, you have an artificial limb on right now. Can you take us back to what happened to you?
Yes, sir. Back in 2010, I was playing rugby in the UK for a local British team, and I was hit with a tackle that actually resulted in a compound fracture of my right lower leg. And at that time, I laid on the rugby pitch for an hour and a half waiting on an ambulance. And then when I got to the hospital, I had 5 surgeries while stationed in England. And at no fault of anybody, all 5 surgeries, something went wrong and not as planned. I don't want to say completely wrong, but let's just say not as planned. And after a year of trying surgeries over there, the doctors decided that they needed to send me to Fort Sam Houston in San Antonio, Texas, to further my limb salvage. I spent 2 years there, and in those 2 years, we all thought my leg was healthy enough, and I was returned to duty in 2013 when I got sent home to Little Rock Air Force Base, where I'm stationed now. While there, I was getting ready for my fitness test, and I was training, doing my job, and I was always in constant pain in some shape, form, or fashion. And I ended up going to 2 doctors there. The first doctor I went to, he talked to me and took an x-ray and said, "Your leg is absolutely messed up, but I'm not touching that. It's beyond me." And so I went back to the base, and they sent me to another doctor. That ortho actually gave me my 8th surgery, and he went in there and basically cleaned out the bones and did what they call Achilles release, where they put 3 holes in your Achilles tendons, and that's when they discovered I had drop foot. And going through physical therapy, going through all that, and then one more little surgery after that, going through all that, I ended up talking to the doctors and talking to my therapist about, is this as good as it's going to get? I'm not able to run. I'm not able to do everything I want to do as a military member because I'm in constant pain. And that's when he said, well, the only option now is amputation. And so in 2014 is when they actually did the amputation. And since then, I'm pain-free. I'm returned to duty once again, 100%. I've been on a deployment. I've been back to Afghanistan with my prosthetic, and life is great. I've got to be here at the Invictus Games. I got to go to the Warrior Games. It's amazing. Life right now is actually a dream for me and my family.
Well, I wanted to take you when you went over to Afghanistan and just share a little bit about the troops that were around you. What amazes me is that you actually were deployed over to Afghanistan with an artificial leg.
Yes, the initial deployment, it was kind of tricky because I fought to get returned to duty, and I didn't fight to get returned to duty to sit at home and sit at home station. Everybody wants to stay at home. Don't get me wrong, but we're in the military. We're in the military to deploy. That's our job. And I was one of those guys, I was jumping up and down trying to get on the deployment, and a lot of people were telling me no. And it was, well, you got this artificial leg, you're hurt, you're injured. I don't know if we can take you. So there was a lot of obstacles I had to jump through and a lot of hoops I had to go through. And getting through those and actually going on the deployment while we were in transit over to Afghanistan, a lot of my coworkers and a lot of the other Air Force members were telling me that we're not 100% sure you're going to last. Are you sure you can do this job? Are you sure you can handle a deployed location? This isn't home station anymore. You're not 100% stuck behind a desk and just sitting. And I was like, no, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. And it took a while. It took a little bit, and then people started seeing that I was contributing, and I was actually. It became almost like one of these games that we're here now at. It became a competition because I had all these people telling me I couldn't do it and telling me no, and so then I turned it into, I know I can do this, and I tried to. At first, it was trying to keep up with everybody else, and once I got to that level of being able to keep up, it was trying to outdo people then. So whatever they did, I knew that I could do better. Sometimes it didn't happen, sometimes it did. And that was the thing, is these guys saw me absolutely trying, and my supervision saw that I was giving everything I had, and I was trying to make this deployment work. So their mindset started to roll over to, it's no longer, okay, we got Sergeant Caswell who's injured, we've got just another Air Force member, and that's how they started treating me. They started treating me as a normal person, and it sounds funny to say normal because I don't think I'm not normal. I'm a little bit different, but who's not different? It's not fun being normal.
As we're talking about Invictus Games right now, what does it feel like to be around a lot of members of the military and even other veterans that have gone through an awful lot?
It's a family. It really is. The Invictus, I feel like my family's grown because when you come to events like this and you get to talk to the other military members, that's where we learn. It's a learning process. So I've been through the limb salvage. I've been through the amputation. There's individuals here now that are in this where I was as far as going through these issues. So now they have a friend, they have a brother that they can call and talk to about this and say, okay, when you were absolutely in pain or you were in a situation, how did you handle it? It might not be the way that they can handle it, but it gives them an avenue. And that's the biggest thing about this is a lot of us have competed at the Warrior Games together, and a lot of us are seeing each other again, or we've competed at other competitions. But when you come to these, I always say the two hardest things about any event is, one, getting out of your comfort zone because you're hurt, you're injured, you find your comfort zone at home and you don't want to come out of it. The second is actually leaving the event. Yes, you've got to go back to life. You got to go back to the real world, but you have to go back, and you literally feel like you're leaving family to come, and you feel like you're leaving family to go, but it's not. You're not that far away. Everybody's a phone call away. All these guys know that if they ever come to Arkansas, I don't know why they would come to Arkansas, but if they do, they have a house, they have a bed they can sleep in. I would, any of these guys here, they can easily come, and they tell me the same thing. And so it's, like I said, it's a family. And yes, we're here to compete for medals. We're here to basically one up each other and for the countries, and we're here representing our countries. But if you watch the events and look at it, we're cheering on the other countries. When I was throwing shot put the other day, I had the bronze medal, and I'm rooting on a Canadian to beat me. He had a throw that could have beat me, and I was telling him and trying to help him on his technique just a little bit so he could beat me. And it's not the medals anymore. At that point in time, the medals go out the window. When you get on the podium and you get a smile and you got your flag over you, it's great. But when you're actually there, we're helping each other advance in our healing. We're helping each other get better, get healthier, get to that next level. And that's what this is about. And that's why I think Prince Harry put this on. And I've said this before, and the I know it comes from a poem. But it's got a different meaning to me, because when I was hurt and when I was going through all the recovery, I kept looking at everything, and I was always asking myself, am I able to do this? Am I going to be able to compete? Am I going to be able to deploy? Am I going to be able to return to the military? And then once everything starts kicking in and you start seeing the improvements and you start seeing that, it doesn't become am I, it becomes I am. I am going to deploy. I am going to stay active duty. I am going to retire from the military on my terms. I'm not going to get medically retired. I'm not going to let anybody affect my career or affect me, because I'm out of that. I'm out of that fear.
What does the spirit of Invictus Games say to you?
Never quit. Absolutely never quit. Never give up. We've all been in those dark places. Some of us have been suicidal, myself included, and we've all came so far. We've came a long way, and the spirit of Invictus is, there are people out there that are here for you. You can do whatever you dream, you desire. Find that passion, find that fire. And once you find that fire, use it in life. It's not just sport. Everybody's got that fire in them, and life's going to knock you down, but you got to get back up. And that's when you dig deep, just like in sports, and you find that one little flame in your belly, and you go out there and you kick life's butt. You don't let anything ever beat you.
Thank you so much for your time, Jason.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.